Raging political and policy battles, raids, and court cases. The eyes of the nation are on Minnesota and the explosive fraud scandal. But lost in the chaos is the life and death impact on our state's most vulnerable. Here's investigative reporter AJ Legault with the latest in Housing Hustle, a Recovery Inc. investigation.
It's cold in here.
It's bitterly cold. Just before Christmas, as movers empty out a St. Paul apartment.
Myself and everybody that resides here is left on their own.
Kelly Roja, along with her neighbors in this building, who all have some degree of physical or mental disability, have been abandoned.
Just left all alone.
Their caregivers, a company called Ultimate Home Health Services that's supposed to provide daily help and oversight to everyone living here, are nowhere to be found.
Basically vanished.
The story behind the vanished caregivers involves a death.
He's got rigor and lividity, so he's been deceased for a long amount of time.
A federal raid, exploding fraud claims.
The breadth and depth of this fraud is breathtaking.
Amid political finger-pointing stretching all the way to our nation's capital, where the case of Kelly's now MIA caregivers is in the congressional spotlight.
Disabled man battling drug addiction under the care of a fraudulent full-time provider died because of neglect.
It's a story that Kelly, fearing retaliation from the people she'd trusted with her care, originally asked KARE 11 to keep her name out of. But now, they vanished, and she's moving out.
My story should be shared because I want to prevent from anyone else having to go through what I've been dealing with.
It began months earlier with a question.
I wonder if I'm a victim.
Kelly invited KARE 11 inside her home to visit because she had a suspicion.
It didn't dawn on me, until I started kind of hearing more stories about fraud.
Kelly had seen KARE 11's reporting on the Housing Stabilization Services, or HSS program, resulting in raids and federal fraud charges. Her HSS worker found her this apartment where she was given a great deal. Her portion of the rent was just $60 per month, and Ultimate Home Health Services covered the rest of the nearly $1,400 a month apartment. But to move in, she was told she had to apply for yet another Medicaid-funded program called Integrated Community Supports, or ICS. Kelly didn't understand this arrangement was potentially an illegal kickback. This state bulletin specifically says an example of a potential kickback in ICS programs includes covering or paying a portion of a recipient's rent.
I had no knowledge of what an ICS setting was.
Overseen by DHS, the Minnesota Department of Human Services, ICS is designed to help adults with disabilities live more independently in their own apartment with one-to-one daily assistance for things like health, safety, wellness, and household management. But Kelly said the reality is far different.
There are days where I get absolutely no service.
Her support plan showed she was supposed to receive 9 in-person ICS service hours and 2 remote hours on average each day. Medicaid records show Ultimate Home Health Services billed taxpayers $375 every single day, claiming they were directly with Kelly an average of 63 hours per week.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. That just is crazy.
Ultimate's home owner, Othman Mohammed, never responded to KARE 11's interview requests. The company website was a skeleton. Their address listed as 123 Main Street, Anytown, Minnesota. They were actually headquartered in the back of a Bloomington strip mall, but no one was ever there when KARE 11 visited. It's a story that in Minnesota now sounds all too familiar. Alleged overbilling by a fly-by-night company in a Medicaid program exploding in cost. KARE 11's analysis of Medicaid data revealed ICS billing in Minnesota had gone up a staggering amount, from $26 million in 2022 to $168 million by 2024. While talking with Kelly about her billing, she told us something that changed everything.
Yeah, one of my neighbors died.
Investigating that tip, KARE 11 discovered that back on March 7th, Rick Klemmer, a severely mentally ill man who battled addictions, was found in his apartment, dead.
He's been deceased for a long amount of time.
Rick's mom, Mickey, worked with KARE 11 to gather records which revealed Ultimate Home billed taxpayers $461 every single day, claiming they provided Rick roughly 12 hours of direct service daily.
What am I gotta do that much checking on him?
But when he died, his caregiver admitted on police body cam, the truth was they only checked on Rick once a day.
I mean, to be honest, as like you do, I do my daily check-ins. I have no idea what he does.
In the wake of KARE 11's report about Rick, the state suspended Ultimate Home from billing Medicaid, and on December 18th, federal agents raided the company, hauling out computers and boxes of evidence. The search warrant cited KARE 11's investigation and an interview the FBI did with Kelly R.
Feeling like the world ending, and I'm stressed and overwhelmed.
Kelly says Ultimate Home stopped paying rent to the building's owners, told her and her neighbors they had 30 days to get out, and then just disappeared, leaving everyone living here abandoned.
My fear was almost thinking I was going to be living on the streets or in a shelter.
Kelly found a place to live. She's one of the lucky ones. Some of her neighbors are basically squatting in the building with no place to go and not getting any of the services they need. Remember, we were all told the reason for the mass influx of immigration agents into Minnesota that's resulted in chaos in the streets and the deaths of 2 United States citizens was to crack down on fraud. Law enforcement sources tell me it's having the exact opposite effect. Fraud cases like the one into Ultimate Home are left in limbo after the mass resignation of federal prosecutors who refused to go along with the DOJ's handling of the investigation, or lack of investigation, into protester Renee Good's killing by an ICE agent. For KARE 11 Investigates, I'm AJ Legault.